Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to a brand new Fallout 76 camper video. And today I thought we'd take a little look at 5 of my favourite building techniques. So these are glitches and techniques that I use most often. It's pretty much all of the major stuff I use. So if you're interested in recreating anything I've done, either in part or in whole, if you can do these things, you should be good to go. So let's jump in and take a look at these. Okay, so, as I say, 4 or 5, somewhere in there, techniques that I use the most often. There's an odd one here and there that I occasionally use that isn't in this video, and there's some stuff that I'm saving for subsequent ones, but this is pretty much the important stuff. As I say, if you can do all this stuff, you'll basically be able to do anything that I do on a even remotely regular basis. So, with that in mind, let's jump on and have a look at some of these glitches, techniques, etc. that I use the most often. Okay, so we are at a public workshop for this one, and technique number 1 I use quite a lot, and it's really handy. It allows you to have stairs that snap onto foundations separate from those foundations, so effectively floating. And it means you can just take the foundation away when we get there, and use it to, say, provide an entrance to a prefab or something like that, assuming the prefab's collision box doesn't get in the way anyway. But to do it, it's dead simple. Snap a second foundation on the side like that, or anywhere else, and there we go. Now you can take that first one out, and you're left with a set of stairs sitting there on their own. So obviously you have to make sure the foundation is in the right place, and so that the stairs will be where you want them, and then take the stairs away. But it allows you to do stuff like this, which I really like doing for entrances and things like that, which is the encampment bridge, and we just nudge that right up against the stairs. We'll reposition it slightly so it's a bit more central, and there we go. Got stairs to get onto this bridge. Neat and tidy, and it can be used for, as I say, prefabs and all manner of other stuff, so long as you can work around the collision boxes and you can get foundations in where you need them so that you can put the stairs in. But a useful little technique. So, technique number 2. This one I've used occasionally, not that often, but in the right situation it's quite useful, and that is floating roofs. So, quite simply, we're going to stick a wall on a foundation here. Ideally you want to make sure that the roof is going to be at the right height before you start, because it's a bit awkward to get that, so you might want the foundation as low as you can possibly get it. But for now, we'll show the technique part of it, and we are just going to snap a couple of roofs onto this wall here. And obviously we can't take this inner one away, because the floating one on the right would be a problem. But we can trick it. So we're going to do the swap replace option, and we're going to change it for an angled one. Either this or the other angled one will work, but it needs to be the right way around, so that when you change it to the angled one like that, the connection, the gap there, is broken. As you can see, the two pieces no longer connected. Now we can take that one out. So, once we've got that floating first piece in, now we can basically just snap on any pieces onto there we want. It's a bit finicky, but frankly, roofs have been a bit finicky lately anyway. So, it's kind of no change there, really. But there we go. Nice square floating roof here that you can put your own sort of improvised walls under, or you can put some posts underneath it using, for example, the next technique, and then you'll be able to have a floating, effectively, roof. However, if you want to take it down, bit of a problem. It doesn't like doing that because things are floating. So we just change it out to a flat piece and break the connection again. That's the important part, breaking the connection, and now you can just remove them. There we go. And now we've got this one on its own, that'll just come out fine. Simple as that. All about breaking that connection. So, technique number 3, I'm sure you guys know this one, and it kind of ties into the last one in terms of one place you might use it, and that is providing supports for roofs like this that are sort of sticking out and you don't want a wall underneath, for whatever reason. So we're going to grab the posts here from the stair tab, and obviously it'll snap to the foundations, but only halfway along, and that doesn't look particularly great. And also in this position, it doesn't even reach the roof, and snapping an extra one on top, well, that doesn't work either for some weird reason. So what we're going to have to do is a little bit of work around to make sure we can snap it to the corner. So we're going to stick an extra foundation on the edge here, just so that we're in the right position there. And now we'll grab some stairs, and snap that one. And now we can go over to the floor tab and grab the upper floors, and we will use these to convince the post to go where we want it. So we're going to get that one on the stairs there, and then we'll put another one here off at a bit of an offset. And it's important to put it at an offset, because you have the same problem with these floors, but if you offset them, then you can make the middle of them over the corner like that. And then we take it out, and look, we have a post sat on the corner supporting that roof fairly nicely. You can also take the half post and tuck it underneath if you want, and then it will reach the ground and look a bit more neat and tidy. Unfortunately, the foundation's kind of blocking us here, so we'll have to take that next one out. As it turns out, we kind of don't want it anyway, but there we go. All the way to the ground, neat and tidy. And there we go, supported roof. Very nice. So another variation on this same technique. Much easier version if we wanted to do it with an upper floor, a balcony, something like that. We don't even need to mess around with the extra foundations and stairs, they'll already be there. We can just snap this half floor on at a bit of an angle like that, grab the post, and stick it in. Now it thinks it's snapping to that extra floor, but when we take it out, it's fine. If you turn it round to the side like that, you can actually choose which way round the post will face, which may or may not be an issue for you, but if you're doing several of them next to each other, you might want them all the same way round. We'll see they're basically H-bars, these things, so make sure you've got that upper floor on the same side or at 180 degrees, and then the post will face the same way. If you've got it at 90 degrees, it'll turn around the post 90 degrees. So, last couple of techniques we're going to have a look at here. We have my makeshift kitchen. Will be a kitchen here. And we're going to put this nice little cooking stove as close to the wall as we possibly can when I've stopped accidentally putting other ones behind the wall. So obviously this doesn't go all that close to the wall, largely because those pipes on the back just get in the way. See, that's about as close as we're getting, and that's not ideal at all. So if you want it in the middle of the wall, a useful little technique that you can use is just to turn that wall into a doorway, grab your cooking stove, push it back into the middle of the doorway, and it won't go all the way through, but a little bit further back it will do. So we'll nudge it forward again a tiny little bit more till it turns green. There we go. You can see that's a lot closer now. And if we turn it into a wall, let's go with the other one, you can see a bit more clearly. You can see it's much closer and it's inside the wall. And if you wallpaper it, it'll hide most of those pipes. They're a little bit thick, so they might show through a little bit, but in either case, that's much neater and tidier. However, if you do want to hide the pipes entirely, or if you want to position your cooking station, for example, somewhere that is off-center, the door won't work. So we're going to use the flamethrower. Now this particular trap you get from the main storyline. You need the fireproof perks and the home defense perks in order to build it, but once you've got those, you can use it to destroy the walls, just like that. Now we can push this thing a whole lot closer, and it doesn't have to be in the center. In fact, in this particular instance, it can't be in the center because that bar is still in the way. But there we go. Basically the same result, right up against the wall, possibly even a little bit closer here. Now we repair it, and look at that, it's tucked inside the wall, and if workshops weren't awkward, I'd be able to wallpaper it and hide most of those pipes again. I did find that half walls seem to work a little better than full ones as well, which is a win. So one other technique I want to show you in terms of the flamethrower that is a variation, and you can mess around with it and do all sorts of things, and that's for furniture. So I want to get this cooking station into my counter here. This is from the Tipsy Tom set. It's the Wild West bar set. Very, very useful. Makes for a nice country kind of kitchen. I like that a lot. As you see, I've taken out the front row here, and we can get much closer, but we're not quite there yet, so we'll do the back row and push it a bit further back. Okay, that's a bit better. Let's just have a quick look at this position now. Maybe a little bit too far back there, I think. Hop up and have a look. Yeah, I kind of want the back of the main part of this cooking station to line up with the gap there, so we'll nudge it forward a tiny little bit. Kind of obsessing a little bit too much over this, really, for the purposes of a tutorial, but that's kind of me all over. So nudge it forward again a tiny little bit. There we go. That sits much more evenly with the front edge of our worktops. So now we can snap these into place, sort of, but we can't actually place them because the cooking station is blocking. So, this is where the flamethrower comes in handy again. So, we'll grab that out of the traps, drop that down again, come out of the menu, trigger it, and it will now destroy the wall first, because apparently the wall is not as tough as the cooking station, but it will destroy the cooking station eventually. There we go. Let's get rid of the trap and repair the wall, get them out of the way. And now, if we go back to the bar set there, the counter set, where are we? There we go, floor decor. Now it will snap in either front or back. Well, front will be a bit weird, but definitely snaps in the back. And if we go over to the corner pieces here, we can just snap those in on the edge, and the whole thing sits nice and snug. Could be a little better positioned if you want to be precise about it, but for the purposes of today, we have a built-in cooking station, and it works just fine. So this is really handy for all manner of occasions where you want to place furniture objects closer together. One particular favourite of mine, other than this as well, is to use it for tables. It's really, really hard in kitchens, for example, to put chairs underneath tables if you want to tuck them in. If you use a flamethrower to destroy your table first, however, you should be able to tuck the chair in much closer, repair the table, problem solved. So there we go. There are 5 of the major techniques that I use most often when I'm building, and if you guys are interested in learning this sort of thing, if you want to recreate anything I've done, that should make it a darn sight easier for you, because that's pretty much everything I use. When it comes to a couple of other bits and pieces, particularly merging, as I want to get a bit more practice before I do a video on that, so I'll do that separately at a later date. But for now, that's pretty much everything that I use on a regular basis. So, hope you guys found this useful and informative. If you did, please do consider dropping me subs and likes. I very, very much appreciate it. As always, down below the video, you can find my social media links, merch store, channel memberships, all those other good bits and pieces on the buttons down there. If you'd like to support the channel that way, I really, really appreciate it. And do keep an eye out for our live streams as well. We are, of course, playing Fallout 76, and we're working our way through The Witcher 2 as well at the moment, which is good fun. So I do hope you join us for those. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.